Hey everybody, this is Ms. Ladd, and I am giving you another demo. I did a Photopea demo last year, and this is going to be on a PC, but in Photoshop, but it's pretty much the same stuff. So let's get started. First thing I wanted to show you guys is that I went ahead and I looked up two different animals. I decided that I wanted to try to put together a lion and a lionfish. So here's the lion, and then here's the lionfish. And I'll just go to Pixabay and download these. I'm going to go ahead and download the largest size I can. I might have to sign in for that. I might not. Okay, so there's my two images. So what I'm going to try to do is find a way to get this lion head onto my lionfish here. It may work out, it may not. Let's see what happens. All right, so here I am in Photoshop. And what I'm going to do is create a new file. And that means I'm going to need 8.5 by 11 inches, 150. First thing I'm going to do is rename this. So this is going to be Trish underscore L underscore fantastic beasts. Actually, just one beast because that's all I'm making. And this is a 150 DPI. And I'll just go ahead and create it. All right, so here I have my 8.5 by 11 page. Probably I should have switched these around. So I believe I can go up here to image rotation. There it is, 90 degrees clockwise. So this just basically changed my 8.5 by 11 to 11 by 8.5. Now that I have this here, I'm going to go ahead and file place embedded, and I'm going to go find my lionfish. Let's just do that. Place. Now you can see it doesn't quite match up with the sides here. It's a little different in its aspect ratio. So I could conceivably just scale it up a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and hit enter and close that, or just move it over. All right. Now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and file, embed, and place. So place embedded, sorry. Lion, place. And so here's my lion image. Now this may or may not work on that head very well. So what I'm going to do to see, first I'm just going to hit return to make it be this size, whatever size it is. And I'm gonna, and it is a smart object, so that's good. So this basically allows me to edit this image to a degree without it being destructive. So I'm going to lower the opacity on this layer. So see where I have opacity over here. And I'm going to just kind of I'm going to say like about 59, maybe a little bit more. 65 is where I've got it. So then I'm going to take the lion head here and kind of try to match it up to a degree with the lionfish's head. So maybe I can do this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. See how I've rotated this a bit? I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now I'm going to return this opacity back to full. Okay. So really what I need to do here is select the lion subject. And so I might be able to do that with the this tool, the object selection tool. And look at that. I've got a pretty good selection right there. We'll just use this little icon right here to to create the mask. So here we can see we've got this lion. I'm going to go back to the move tool, and I'm going to move it down here. cool. So what I'll probably do or probably want to do is to do some masking of this lion mane. I'm going to go back in here. See, here's the black and white. I am going to use my brush. So that's the letter B for brush. And you can see the size of my brush right here. I'm going to use the brackets to make that brush a little bit bigger. And as you can see, like I've got the white here selected versus the black. I want to erase or conceal some pixels. So I can hit the letter X and that'll change this black and white position to each other. So now I should be able to paint on the masking layer and remove pixels. All right. We can do that. So you can see like I've got a lion fish, haha, very funny. Maybe if I shrink it down a little bit, it might fit in here a little bit better. I'm going to have to take care of that. Let's just do that right now with the brush, B for brush. And I will paint that off as well. So B for brush. So get rid of this. Okay. All right, then I'll just move him back. I wonder if I can move the lionfish up a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Okay. Then I've got my lion head here. And I'm probably going to want to use like some of these textures and maybe clone this a bit. Move this head just a little bit more. A little bit better. So maybe I can like do a little something here to bring in that fin so that it doesn't look so much. So we could take our black brush and lower the opacity. So let's do that. I'll just do B for brush and take down the opacity. So here's the opacity. I can lower the opacity. Let's try like, let's do 30%. And I'm going to want to zoom in. So I'm holding down the Alt key and zooming in with the scroll wheel. And see if I can maybe like get some of that to come through, like right here. Maybe. Here's our little fin. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So you can see I've got like this little bit of fin here coming out from behind the mane. I'm going to like get some of this mane out as well. There's ways to refine the selection for this mane, but I'm not going to go into that. There's tutorials for that for like messy hair stuff. I really would like to see this area here moved like over or kind of like warped a little bit. So I might have to do that with like maybe some cloning, or maybe I can take this polygonal lasso and just copy. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to try copying this. So Control C or Command on a Mac, Control V or Command on a Mac. So you can see we've got like a little bit of the background here still, but that's okay because I'm going to try to rotate this a bit more so that maybe my mane can kind of look a little bit more like it's flowing, like with the water, right? So try that. Okay. And then I'll probably use again the mask tool. I can just go over here and just make a layer mask like so. And so what that does is it reveals everything. All right, so I'm going to use the opacity of this brush, maybe in this area specifically. I'm going to put it at full opacity. All right. So we can see like the mane kind of sort of looks like it's flowing with the water. That's kind of cool as he's swimming around lightly. Okay. We might like do some cloning here and there, maybe. Let's see what we got going on. So that's kind of looking pretty cool, right? I got maybe a little bit of an edge there that I needed to take care of. Then I can use my non-destructive cloning, because like this little green, this mane, this kind of edge of this mane looks a little too much, and I gotta get these guys out. Oops. Command Z, and I gotta get this stuff out too, which I think is on this layer or not. Could be on this layer. There it is. All right. So here's my lion head. Like I said, I might have to do something with the dodge tool to just kind of fix his lighting. But even so, this is not a bad look. There's things that I can do to refine this, but this has only been a few minutes, and look at the effect that I've already gotten. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little cloning. So spacebar, click and drag. I'm going to do a little cloning of this mane here, maybe to kind of just keep kind of with the flow going. Clone tool. So that's the S for stamp. And let me take my brush. It's a fuzzy brush. I'm going to start cloning. I'm going to make sure that I get current and below, because I want to be able to get all that. So Alt, I'm going to select these pixels right here, and then I'm going to use the clone tool to just kind of bring in some more things, right? That looks pretty good. I'm going to select all of these elements, and I'm going to put them in their own unique folders. So see the folder icon here? See how I've highlighted these elements? So you can see here I've got all of these guys in a folder. That way I can just kind of grab them all and manipulate them all at the same time. I don't like that little shiny bit there. So we can use like the clone tool. I'm going to do a new layer. And again, clone tool with the shortcut for that is S. And then I can kind of use the clone tool to just kind of like get rid of some of that. That's probably okay. And maybe I want to like get rid of some of this so that it doesn't look weird underneath his mane. Again, I'm doing this here below the mane and on the lionfish. So let's see here. What's some good pixels maybe to emulate? Let's go ahead and do this. I'll just do these guys over here. And since they're going to be below the mane, right, we won't see the mane in here. And it's just basically picking up pixels that are behind the mane. Not too bad, not too bad. Maybe use a little mane over here to kind of cover some stuff up. And like I said, I think the main thing to focus on here might be the lighting, because he's really light in front versus like he should be kind of darker like down here, and maybe a little more lighter up here. So one of the ways that we can do that is to, I'm going to duplicate this group. So I can just grab that, duplicate it, and then I'll hide this because this is my non-destructive stuff. I'm going to actually merge this group. So I right click on it and edit, merge group. There it is. So you can see I've like destroyed this whole thing. This is non-destructive, right? This lion head back here is non-destructive. This is basically taken everything and flattened it. And one of the things that I can do then is to use like the dodge tool or the burn tool. So the burn tool, mid-tones, exposure 50%. Yes, protect tones. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So we kind of make this a little darker. So that's my aim here, for just to get in here with. So this would be, I'm changing these pixels. So this is a destructive technique. But as I said, like sometimes we kind of got to do that in order to make something that's like fairly realistic. I'm gonna, exposure. Make this a little darker. So you can see how that's altering the color of the pixels. Then I'm going to use the dodge tool to kind of lighten up some of his mane. So might have to kind of go back in here with like some of the masking to kind of get that going. Because you can see this has kind of like made my edge a little wonky, but that's okay. And I just kind of want to change some of the dynamics of things a bit here and there. Maybe I can get back in here with the mask. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and mask this again. So let's mask this. So see how this is all white? That means the entire layer is revealed. So when I paint black on it, it will be less revealed. So let's go to B for brush. And I don't need to have my brush this big. And I might want to go ahead and leave the opacity down at 37 where it currently is. Maybe Command C on that. And then make this even smaller. So make my brush smaller. And just kind of get in here and get some of this hard edge off. So it kind of looks like it's, in the water. Right. So we have some of this texture here. I'm going to hit X, bring some of this back. A little bit here and there, just to kind of just. And like I said, this is one of those things that is going to take you some time. And as you can see, I'm just doing this with a plain old ordinary mouse. Nothing special, fancy, no Wacom tablet, no nothing. So I would be doing this, I'm doing this just like you would be doing this. Okay. So this kind of gives you a basic idea. I mean, you're going to want to get in here and get a little more detailed and get a little more, fancy with it. But even just a few minutes and you can see that we've got a fairly decent effect. I might be able to like go in here and do some additional like adjustment layers. That's something we haven't talked about. We could do adjustment layers. So let's take this moment to create an adjustment layer. So see this thing down here, this little half circle? These are adjustment layers. And I can like do things like brightness and contrast. I could do curves, vibrance, hue, pattern, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let me maybe try curves a little bit. Now here you can see what's called a histogram, and that histogram shows you kind of all of the values from light to dark. So this is like a linear curve. It's not a curve, it's linear, but we can get in here and mess with the, so you can see like here we have a very bright lion, which actually doesn't look too bad. Or we could go with a little darker lion, which also looks pretty cool. We can also like create another point here to just kind of like work with curves. And if we want to specifically kind of just work on the lion head in particular, we can do what's called a clipping mask, where a clipping mask basically says, take what's underneath and make it the mask of this upper layer. So I'm going to hit the Alt key and see this little down arrow. So it's going to do this, and you'll see like the whole picture shift a bit, just except for the lion. So see how that works? So I can just go in now and just like adjust the lion however I like. If I don't like the curves, I can decide, well, this or that or the other thing. But you can see it's just focused on the lion head as opposed to like the lion fish in the back. I kind of like that. It's not too far different because like the original lion, you can see like the gray straight line. But yeah, like I said, that's got it brighter. And so that's how you make an adjustment layer. So you're going to want to use some of these sometimes to kind of make things match. And then you can clip it to specific areas. You can even like click over here and use the actual masking tools for the same purpose and do it that way. So there's a lot of different options that you can use in Photoshop to make things very photorealistic. All right. And that's pretty much going to be it for my demo right now. Here's like my lionfish. It's not a great example, but I think it's not terrible. So let me know what you think. But this kind of gives you an idea of like how you can go about cloning things, how you can go about, using a clipping mask. Let me know if you have anything else you need to know. There's another demo for Photopia. If you want to look at that, that's a different kind of catfish. And yeah, check that out when you get some time. All right. Happy rendering, everyone.